One of the greatest threats to marriage today is not conflict. It's actually comparison, because comparison quietly creates dissatisfaction with a life that God may actually be blessing. Is this thing on? Welcome to Come Sis With Me, the podcast, real talk, biblical wisdom, and practical tools. I'm your host, Mia Randall, your wellness architect. Each episode is designed to help you align, release, and create a life you actually want to live. Actually, it's more like my personal journal that I read aloud to my sisters in the world every week. But hey, come for the stories and strategies and stay for the sisterhood. Let's get into it. Today is a very special episode because I am joined by no other than my wonderful husband, Scootie Randall.
What up, what up, what up?
Scootin', babe, Scootin'. So we're celebrating 11 years of wedded bliss Friday, which is today for you guys. And instead of talking about how we met or who liked who first or who said I love you first,
Which was me.
Definitely him. We wanted to talk about something that quietly destroys relationships: comparison. And if you know us, anything about our in basketball family or have ever met us, a couple of things that people immediately recognize is how much fun we have. I think how transparent we are. But I don't think we have actually talked about some of the struggles that we've had in our marriage. And 11 years, biblically, 11 represents like a year of chaos. And for us, we're not in chaos, but I think what's being revealed is the chaos that could ensue and the chaos that we have actually overcome, just by not allowing this thing of comparison take over our relationship and who we are. I think social media has fundamentally changed how people experience relationships, and we compare things like communication and vacations and who has the better wedding venue, who has the bigger house, who has the more influence. And those things just become really daunting for a marriage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all moments. It's moments that those people give us and share with us that we don't really see the underlying life stories that goes on in the journey. All we get to see is the moment. So we're comparing ourselves to moments that we don't really take the time to digest.
Yeah, the highlight reels. It's not reality. And so comparison makes you crave lives that you don't even fully understand. You're wanting something without actually paying the cost to it. So we wanted to talk about that comparison is costly, especially in the life that we live. So if we could just take a moment and just talk to our overseas basketball family, right, about the danger of comparison in your marriage and what this potentially could look like for you, because I think this is especially difficult and dangerous in the lifestyle that we live and the basketball culture, right? Because there's so many things to compare, right? People compare
contracts, lifestyles, teams, apartments.
Yeah. Social circles, endorsements, we remember people arguing or even having an issue with a agent sharing things about one person's endorsement with other people's endorsements. And, sometimes you can just compare yourself to somebody else and think that their lane looks better than your own lane, and it doesn't help you grow, right? And I can only imagine what that does for a marriage, right? Because
I mean, and you can still feel behind, like you visualizing someone else's life and trying to make it your life. And that's not what God intended for you. So even though you can still feel like you're living their life, you're still falling behind on the purpose that God has.
Yeah. So, literally being blessed, but you still can't see it because your focus is on someone else's things and stuff and
Moments.
right? Moments, highlight reels, and they're not even in the real things with them. I think personally, we've been overseas, so 13 seasons you played, right, overseas. And throughout that 13 seasons, we have learned a lot, right? I think in the beginning of your career, it was people telling us what we should be asking for in contracts, me seeing other women have things in their homes and as a part of like their situations. And I would just say, hey, how'd you get that? And they would tell me, hey, we put it in our contract. And I just remember going back to you a couple times, right? Like, hey, next year, this is in the contract, right? And that I wouldn't put that in the category of comparison, but I do think there have been several times in your career where I've thought to myself, why doesn't my husband have that contract? Right? Yeah. Why aren't we able to grow,
play on certain teams
or be certain even about cities, where we're going next year, right? Like people are getting 2-3-year contracts and we're still bidding for one. Yeah, I think that was just a lot. It's a lot, and I could see how easily we get drawn into comparison in this lifestyle. So I just, thought that my husband would be able to give us a little bit of wisdom today, my audience, a little bit of wisdom today about the seasons and what we've gone through and how looking at social media, looking at everyone to the left and the right, yeah, it looks like they were winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you spot on. I think we would have, and we did to an extent, and I think that we would have missed what God had for us. And not just me individually, but me and how that aligned with us and our marriage, how her purpose and what God has for her helps our marriage, helps us as a union. So I think we would have definitely missed what God had for us, trying to chase the life that someone else is, quote unquote, living in the highlight reel. So,
and I love our story. I think our story is very unique to us and unique to even what we do individually, but even better collectively, right? Like here, being able to sit in front of this community and talk about things that some other marriages have never experienced in our overseas basketball life, right? But I also think that we paid the cost for it too. Like, comparison it becomes expensive. Like living our own story, I think we would have had to pay a much more expensive cost if we decided to do things outside of the will of God, or if we decided to do things based on what we see other people doing, right? Because it's very easy to miss us through the fog of everything else. Yeah. So how have you been able to see us through the fog of our basketball?
I mean, I think it's what I do is not who I am. So I think
I love that.
The fog is just something that we still have lights to see through the fog. When you drive in the car, you still have lights, you still got high beams. And I think you just be a little bit more cautious once the fog comes.
Yeah.
And I think to be cautious in those moments, you got to rely on the Lord. And I think that's something that we do more now, which we haven't done in the past. And I think that just helps us. And doing it together is always better than doing it individually. I think it's important to slow down at times. I think when it's foggy outside, you can't drive the normal speed limit. You got to slow down and be more aware, and more, cautious of your surroundings. So,
isn't it so smart?
And it's not just about you; it's about others in the fog too. I think we get so caught up in ourselves and what we want, and obviously what God has for us, but we lose sight of that God intends to bless us through the lens of people, and just being mindful of that in the fog as well is something that we try to do. Our marriage is the way it is because we love on people, not for anything in return, not for the same love, which we had experiences, but we do what we do because we know God is love. So I think even through the fog, we still gotta love others and not be so focused on the highlights.
I love that, baby. because it makes me think about gratitude, right? It makes me think about us not being so focused on what we lack, but being just grateful for what we have. And our marriage is stronger because we appreciate what we actually have, not what we lack. Honestly, that has come from you, because I don't know that that was always my case. I'm always like, I want more.
Yeah.
And Sweetie's like, we got enough.
And we deserve more, and God tend to give us more, but He would love for us to steward what we have.
What we have already. Yeah.
And I think that's a big key. Like we want bigger jobs, we want more money, we want better houses, we want, one-time contracts, but what we got to be grateful for
what we do have.
What we do have, and the way God is positioning it in front of us. So
yeah,
I think that's important too.
Yeah. In John 21, the story with Peter and John, there's a moment in there that says Peter asking Jesus about John, and Jesus's response is like, "What about him?" Right? And Jesus is basically saying, like, "What is that to you? Follow me." Like, his business is not your business. Your business is your business. Or my business with you is your business. And I think that's what you're hinting to, is we have been about Jesus's business for us and not Jesus's business for everybody else. And that has helped us grow this intimate nature with one another. So even in the hard times where it's been really tough waiting on a contract, or even like this last season, what was going on, but 3 teams in one season was a lot, babe.
I mean, it's a lot because it's something that we've never done.
I did not like it. I don't like touring. I'm like Michael Jackson here. I don't like touring. But I mean, it worked out, right? Because I was grateful that you still had an opportunity. First of all, we played on a team that I think we've always wanted to play for. We went back to one of our favorite cities this year. Yeah. 2 of our favorite cities, actually.
No. So it's crazy. We initially went back to where it all started.
Yes, that was
yes. From there, and what people may see as a dark time or a transitional period, we went to a team that has always been a part of a dream that Mia has had for a while. And then to finish the season, so I think it's even through the transition and having the uproot, there's so many things to be grateful about. There's so many little moments for us to be thankful for and be grateful for in that transition, which was all new for us this year.
Yeah.
So I admire the people who constantly do it. But for us, it was an easier transition than a lot of people think, because obviously
because of gratitude,
we're grateful for what we have.
Yeah, because we couldn't be focused on, oh, well, what about their contract, or what about their income, or what about them being able to stay and us having to move, and what about their opportunities? Because Jesus is like, what does that have to do with you?
Yeah.
Right? And just staying in that mindset of, we would have missed opportunities to be on assignment in places if we stayed obsessed with someone else's assignment, right? Like,
and it's easy to do.
It's easy to do, right? But we can't afford to do that, right? Like, the quickest way to lose your assignment is to become obsessed with someone else's. And we can't afford that, because I think, like, what the Lord has put in us and what He is trying to do through our marriage is just too important for us to let something like, you have to move again and like restructure your life, and you're worried about someone else not having to move. It's just, those things become very temporary, right? And now that I look back on it, I'm like, what an opportunity we had to be in 3 different places in one season. Some people never leave the city that they're in. And so I am actually grateful. I don't think in the moment I knew that was gratitude, but I'm grateful now. So we've learned, like, marriage isn't built through comparison, right? That's kind of the whole gist of this. It's built through consistency, yes. Through choosing each other,
over and over and over.
First of all, you don't have to make it sound like that.
No, it's like, because we're in this together. And I think
forever.
And I think it's you get in a stage where you start choosing all these other things because of what they look like.
Yeah.
And it's all rooted back into comparison. But if we choose each other, we're not in the marriage to compare ourselves to her or how good she's doing. I'm here to do my part, that it can be in line with her part so that we can make it work. Like, we're never in comparison. And that's something.
Competition, we're never in competition. Yeah, absolutely.
We're never in competition. So.
Yeah, and we forgive quickly. Oh, we just did a marriage couples night, Kingdom couples night. Shout out to Albie and V. They are members of our church, and they invited, they were so intentional. I loved every moment of this. They were so intentional about having us over and having other Kingdom couples over and creating space for us to have really genuine conversation. And one of the conversations was about forgiveness.
Fun, like, and people don't realize, people think marriage is like a stressful thing, but like fun conversation.
Or they think it's like just perfect and it's going to fix all of your problems.
Yeah. I'm grateful because they told us when we were there, and all the couples, like, they were intentional about that. Like, like they didn't just say,
I love that.
To them, because they prayed and the Lord put it on us. So,
yeah.
Like, we're not comparing ourselves to anybody. We just being who God created us to be. And that is just a small portion of like his doing. So I think that's super, super cool.
Yeah. And you know, the way that we were able to talk about the importance of communication, the importance of forgiveness, the importance of grace extended to one another in your marriages, it was like the icing on the cake we went at the end of the week, and it was just like the best ending to the week, right? And yeah, it's just reminding us that you know, we are these marriages, kingdom marriages, are built through letting God write your story instead of trying to copy someone else. Yeah. So when they said that they prayed about being intentional about who came there, they weren't praying to be like, oh, let's bring couples who we can compare ourselves to and do better. Oh my gosh. And at the end of the night, all of us walked away with something, like I think like a nugget from someone else's marriage, not out of comparison, but like wisdom. Like, oh, I like that, right? Because it reminded me of my theme for the year, which is heritage. I've done a podcast on it before. Do you listen to my podcast?
Mm-hmm. Save.
He saves them. But I talk about heritage, and heritage is literally just the stewarding of the choice of stewarding what you have inherited, and how we could have inherited someone else's blueprint, but we have been intentional and consistent about crafting our own through the lens that God has given us. And why comparison is dangerous is because it distracts you from building your own thing, right? So if we went there that night and we came home and we were like, X, Y, and Z does this, why don't we do this? Like, we played a game. Here's what it's called. We played a game, and we had to like guess not guess, you're supposed to know the other person's, like, I don't know. One of the things is like your favorite gospel song or whatever. But
I'm like, you talking about what we feeling today, or like what we need to
even like snacks and stuff. And it's so funny because it was our favorite Bible verse. Like, what's your spouse's favorite Bible verse? And he was like, I could give you like
I knew the book.
I know. No, you didn't even know. You knew one book, but you're like, she got like a lot of Bible verses that she likes. I'm a nerd. So like, there's a lot of Bible verses that I like. But we were like, if at the end of the day, like, all else fails, just go with your marriage verse, right? Like, but we were laughing about it. And I love that because none of us were like, oh, they knew somebody's, you know, their spouse's X, Y, and Z. And nobody was upset. At least I hope not, right? At the end of the night, we were cracking up like, bro, we got work to do. You don't know my verse? Now I gotta be intentional about it. But like that would have distracted us from building our own thing if we were constantly stuck in comparison. We wouldn't be able to build legacy because we wouldn't even be able to get out of stewarding like the old habits. I think comparison is a passed down trait, right? I think,
and it's not something that, again, like with we being transparent, it's not something that we are free from doing. Like
exactly.
It's not like
we
this is
ain't come arrived at the
like,
destination yet.
Yeah, this is like a working process, like a daily telling yourself.
Thank
like,
you, baby.
Like, you know,
telling people.
I know
we're not perfect.
Yeah, like what God has for us, it'll be, and again, what's needed from us. All we need is one person to benefit off of what God is doing. It's a domino effect, but like we're not perfect. And every day we have moments that we gotta be conscious about, be aware of,
and still choose each other through.
Yeah.
And I really love that we create our own marriage culture. No one can come in from the outside and tell us what the culture is of our marriage. And again, another thing that I took away from that night was they honored everybody's marriage culture without trying to change them. Like they didn't say at the end of the night, you have to be X, Y, and Z, right? There were no expectations. It was you come and just share the goodness of your kingdom marriage with the people that are in the room, and that's it. I just love that for us. I love that for any marriage, that you don't build heritage by comparing what is already in your hand. You build heritage by cultivating, right? You can continue to cultivate the culture, the legacy, the kingdom, the family in your marriage, and that's it. So, baby, I wanted to ask a couple anniversary questions.
Yeah,
you ready for this? Are you ready for the anniversary questions? Okay, so here's the first question. What's one thing that we've learned this year in our marriage? What's one thing that you've learned? No, you can say we that we have learned.
I think to think the intentionality, like being more intentional, like about not just the big things, but like the little things.
Yeah.
And I think in the beginning it was fun. In the beginning of marriage, relationship, it was fun.
You were fun.
Honeymoon style.
I tell people that all the time.
I think now I'm being more intentional about spaces we go to, people we come in, people we want to give our time to. Yeah. Just being more intentional about that, because all of those things are seeds that we want to be planted or we do not want to. Enjoy, and that is very different from the start. Oh, well, you answered my second question then, because I was going to ask what's one thing you appreciate more now than when we first got married. And that's, I think it's that we was able to transition into being much the fun more couple. Not just a fun couple, but much more mature adults. Well, that came with age, I think. Experience and stuff, but like we was intentional trying to be better. I love that. So yeah. Two questions. What's one thing comparison taught you? Can comparison teach you? I feel like maybe, but if you walk out of it. It has taught me I may miss what God has for me, because what I do, what God has given me is connected to the next me. Mm-hmm. And if I compare myself to someone else, the next me will not get the proper ingredients to life or whatever it is that they may be going through. I want to be mindful of that. Like I'm not robbing me, but I'm robbing the next me. And I want to make sure I don't do that. So I love that. And in return, like I'm like I get a bonus benefit to that, because I get to feel and absorb like that process for you. I love that. I love that for me. Okay, what's one thing that God taught us through basketball transitions? I think the biggest thing is like our identity is not in what it is that we do, what you do, play in, jersey, the title that people give us, the pedestal that people put us on. People put us on pedestal. Yeah. We just have to just loosen the grip on that and just be mindful. Grateful to me is like the big thing in all of these transitions. Being grateful that we get a chance that I get a chance to play again, that we get a chance to experience life again, so we get to cultivate that for the next legacy that we want. Live out and get back. So,
babe, I wrote something that I want you to look at. Any marriages that are in the overseas basketball life, I want us to read this declaration over them, which is, got it? See it? Okay.
When you're ready.
Okay. We release comparison. We release striving. We release the pressure to compete. We release the need to measure our lives against others, and we choose gratitude. We choose stewardship. We choose faithfulness, and we choose to build the story God has entrusted to us. I love that. I love that for you guys. I love that for us and our 11 years of marriage and on to forever. Right, babe? And we pray that over marriages, that you engage couples, dating couples, all our overseas basketball families, that comparison would not be your story, but gratitude and legacy and faithfulness. And what God actually has for you is what you receive, and you live in that blessing. Before we close, babe, I have one more question for you. What's one thing that you think comparison almost stole from us?
I would say our own story, appreciating our own story, because and I had to write this one down, y'all, because this one would hit me too. It's easy to look at other players' contracts, teams, opportunities, platforms, and timelines and wonder why your journey doesn't look the same. There were moments when comparison tempted us to focus on what God was doing for someone else instead of what he was doing in our own lives. When that happens, you can miss the blessings right in front of you. And I think God always places things in front of us. And what God has for you is right in front of you. It's crazy that you can miss something that's right in front of you.
Or that was given specifically to you.
That was handed to you.
Yeah. Comparison is costly because eventually it convinces you to abandon the very thing that was yours to begin with. And it's a sad place to be.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, babe.
11 years.
1-1.
10 plus
1 and 1.
12.
Is that like a basketball term? 1 and 1.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. You'll see me next week. Not.
You might see me again.
Oh, really? We can get you on again? I'll let you pick the topic.
Okay. I agree with that.
You want to pick the topic?
I agree with that.
We can let him pick the topic. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Be blessed. That's it. If today's conversation resonated with you or is meaningful in some way, share it with a sister, follow the podcast, and leave a review. Or if you want to share your story and help shape our sisterhood, go to www.thewellness-architect.com/podcast and click on share your testimony. We would be honored to hold space for your voice. Thank you for coming for the stories and strategies and staying for the sisterhood. Until next time, sis, be well.